we're getting the mobile rig ready. You guys can see how good that shit's sealed. It's got to all go out that way. I had to drain. This box was full of water because it was there. I let this thing sit for the last couple days, and unfortunately, I still haven't fixed the light bar leak. So I bet you any money says this seat is soaked. That it is. So you can see up here, we get a little bit of water. I gotta fix that leak, throw some RTV in there, because it's leaking pretty good. But we are going today to go tear apart a 12 valve, because Josh blew up the little red truck again. And so we got a motor, and we're gonna see how that works out. I need to get rid of this, clean this out, but I'm gonna have to put some shit down for that. Fucker's still draining pretty good. Yeah, this is all trash, probably burn all that. So I'm just trying to collect all of the generations at this point, because I put the video up. Actually, it hasn't been up yet. So Otis has until about the 5th, and then we're gonna pull the trigger on some parts. Bumper, hood stack, cab lights, tint, and one of these back here. We're gonna get the AC done, the e-brake. We're gonna get an air horn for it. I'm gonna see if Horn Blasters wants to work on this one, because I have their horn on here. You guys, I got a lot of shit for this horn, but it's pretty loud for what it is. I mean, it's just a stock replacement horn. But if I could get one of them for this, and some tint, maybe some new lights. I did notice ever since I put the bumper back on, because I had to take it off the other day to fix that transmission cooler leak, what's been happening is randomly the headlights will go out and then the high beams don't work either. And then randomly it'll come back on. So I'm wondering if there's just a little connection in there or whatnot. But this bumper, if I keep this truck, this bumper is absolutely going in the garbage. Or I'll sell it to one of you guys. So if anybody wants this fresh bumper, let me know. This thing has been sitting for, like I said, about 4 days. So let's see. I'll let the grid heater go. I usually don't, but I'm gonna put something down on this too. You can see just how much water gets literally in right there. And then there's the hole there, so I'm gonna put some RTV on that. Fire's right up. It's been cold, rainy, and miserable for 4 days. You guys check this feature out, right? Watch this. She'll idle like a rotary. Bap, 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 bap. There we go. I need your guys' opinion on this. Because this, I've been calling this one Otis because it literally looks like Otis from back at the barnyard. Which it probably won't when we do the new bumper, but Betty White or Bertha? What do you guys like better? All right, so we got Betty fired up. Let's see, let's get them both fired up, you know? You can't even hear mine. You can't hear Otis. There we go. All that water. Yeah, she's going pretty good. So we're here, but I'm gonna tell you how annoying sometimes LED life can be. See that nice LED right there? And then you come over here, it's annoying. And same thing with the back. These fell out a while back. You can see it's just chilling in there both sides. Alright, so I kept this a surprise for the most part for you guys. See, Josh runs the same air filter I do, hot air intake right next to the turbo. So, Josh might be doing a hood stack too, or a cap with the stack out the cap. But here's the secret we kept from you guys. So we got a motor underneath this tarp, and what we're gonna end up doing is we're gonna pull this head and that block, and we're gonna send them both out to get machined, as opposed to just doing one or the other. So this head, because this is a stage something ported head from Power Driven, so he spent some money on it, and we're gonna reuse it, obviously. That motor came with like 5x18 injectors, whereas he's running, I think, 5x12s. So I don't know what we're gonna do, but what we're gonna end up doing in the beginning is, you know, when we throw this all back together, we're gonna try to run it at stock power levels. Josh always seems to have issues as soon as he blocks the wastegate off. That's where the head gasket blew, because he drove this thing around, no problems, and then one day, hey, let's, you know, block this little line off, get rid of the wastegate, spike the boost up, and then that exact trip, bam, immediate coolant and oil mixing, because dude's religious on the maintenance on this thing, and I feel like doing your proper maintenance is why this thing breaks. I don't know, but we're gonna start getting this thing apart. So I gotta get the turbo, the manifold, all this bullshit's gotta come right back off. We're gonna redo this bracket now that we know it works. So I'm gonna try to make him a little bit nicer of a bracket, and we're gonna start focusing on like cleaning up some of this stuff, maybe paint some stuff, and just kind of like all around make it nice. Since the bottom end is gonna be replaced, we are also gonna try to do all of the gaskets, and just literally everything is gonna get done this time. So that means no oil leaks out of this motor, and probably loom some of the stuff like this, and just all around make it nice. So like I said, we're gonna be tearing this head off again today. Slow and steady. I got the block heater piece off because we're gonna put that on the new one. Loomed it nice. We're gonna make this stuff nice as I'm pulling it off so I don't forget. I need to get this oil drain out of here, and we're slowly gonna start taking stuff off. I did drop a few clips, but now that the turbo's out of the way, I should be able to find them. These little bastards are not fun. I gotta do the last 3 in there, but I lost 2. But I've been using the magnet and a little screwdriver to kind of pry them free. But that over with the turbo, and then we're gonna reassemble that. I'm gonna put this back together while it's over there, so like all the pieces can stay together. But slow and steady, we'll get her. Turbo officially off. Drain at some point, take the ground off at some point. So slow, steady wins the race. Probably not going to pull the block here. I'm not sure if we're going to pull the block here or not, because then we got to support the trans, so I might end up putting a ratchet strap under the trans, but we are going to try to do this whole thing in the parking lot. Main thing is getting the head and the other block ready to go, so that's going to be the whole main thing, and then after that we'll start focusing on how are we going to pull this block. But at this point it's basically going to be a parking lot engine swap. You guys can see the milkshake madness. Just keeps doing it. Thing ran great, and then blocked the wastegate off, bam, blown head gasket immediately. These ARP head studs should be able to take it. I think we used a gasket he got off of eBay. It was supposed to be a Cummins, but I got all the head studs up. No, I did not sit here and just spin every one of them. We impacted everything off in the front, and then used this guy on the ratchet to get the rest of them up, because I don't know if we're going to reuse these studs or not. They're literally brand new. They have 1 use on them. What we're going to do now is I got to get this ground off, which is a 15. Make sure this front nut's off, that one's off, and then pull all this stuff out, and then this thing's ready to lift up. I got to do the coolant temp sensor in the back before I forget, because I remember we did that before and almost ripped the damn wire off. But coolant temp sensor on these is in the back of the head. Get those last couple things, and then she's ready to come off. So before I pull this the rest of the way off, I'm going to take some bets. I don't think the head gasket is blown. So where I'm staying from that, like, it's mixing coolant and oil very, very badly and very, very obvious. I get it. Head could have lifted this and that. So when he drained when he went to drain the oil, he drained all the coolant out of it first and left the oil in it. Let it sit for about a week or 2. Keep in mind, when I pulled these studs off, they were all tight. Like, they were very, very, very tight. Like, I torqued them to 135, and he was able to come back like a week later, and he went to drain the oil. Mind you, the thing wasn't even run yet, and there was coolant back in the block. So I'm wondering if we don't have a crack in the block somewhere, or if this guy took a shit, or one of those. The cooling system held pressure when we did I have a thing I can pressurize the cooling system, and it actually held pressure. The only leak it had was this right here, tiny little, but it held pressure. But if you let it sit, and you drain the oil after about a week of it sitting, there's a good amount of coolant in the oil. Not sure what it could be, but like I said, I'm gonna get all this pulled out, and then the head's ready to lift minus a couple of little things. Got the head off. Yes, I picked that whole thing up and took it over there myself. So, bad news, and it's on the head side. But dude literally blew 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 all along right into the coolant. On the block side, 1, 2, 3, 4. So he blew 4 of them on the block side, 1 of them on the head side. Like I said, truck ran awesome on like stock boost. Like I think he was running like 40 pounds and it was fine. Thing was running great. He was checking his oil every single time. Everything was perfect. And then block wastegate off. That first trip he went to go get groceries, and then bam. So what we're gonna end up doing is getting a separate block. We're gonna send that second block out, and we're gonna send that head back out just to check it. Make sure she's still flat after all that. I still gotta pull the injectors out and whatnot, but that's why I set it up on its side. But yeah, he blew the shit out of this one. Your boy knows how to party. So yeah, like I said, we're gonna end up putting a whole motor in this. I'm gonna see what we gotta do, but we need to make sure. We might do some O-rings on it, but he cannot stop blowing it. And this time it's not even like, usually these will blow. I don't know why coolant was getting in the oil though. That blew there into the head stud. That blew into the head stud. Yeah, I see here too. Blown there. I wonder if this one's just a cheap one, but yeah, I think we're gonna go the O-ring route on this next one. I think that'll make the most sense, because like he definitely wants to enjoy it. But that's where we're at. Now I'm gonna go. It's gonna be a hot minute to see what he wants to do. Somehow I gotta find a way to get the block that's in the back here. He literally just the motor is sitting on its friggin' side. Show you. The motor's sitting on its side. He sprayed some PB Blaster in there, so ignore that. But this is the block we're gonna use. We're gonna get this whole thing cleaned up, and yeah, he got rust in there, so he sprayed PB Blaster in the cylinders. But we're gonna go. I gotta strip this one down. So here's the head, all stripped down, ready. It decided to rain, and then it stopped, and then it rained. So now we're gonna pull the block, and we're gonna set it right about here and strap it down. I'm not putting it in the bed because screw that. And then we're gonna take both these to the machine shop. Those head studs are not coming out. We're gonna let them handle that. And we also want to check into pricing. I'm going to check into the pricing on getting O-rings done, as opposed to just, you know, getting O-rings on both or getting O-rings on one. We're going to get pricing on that. Josh is going to He-Man this thing to here. I have the equipment. Yeah, you're right. It's about 350. On bottom. Hey, it's raining! Yay! Yay! Probably not. Yes. Team deadlift. Oh yeah. We need to get it all the way back though. But easier. Hey, as long as you say that. I didn't say it. All right, so it looks like that recorded the whole time. So we just deadlifted this engine over. So we're, yeah, so I'm gonna get the motor mount off. We're gonna pull it all the way back so it's off the tailgate, and then I'm gonna strap it down, and then we're gonna head over there. Not sure if I'm gonna take highways or not, but she's fine. Nothing's gonna happen. So I need to get the crane situated. What? It's 15. So we're gonna get that motor mount off, and then have them at the machine shop take care of it. He's throwing more PB blaster in there. You can see everything got wet, but it'll be fine. We're gonna get everything cleaned, get this whole thing built up, throw it back together, and then hopefully we're gonna throw this whole thing in as an assembly. We're gonna roll this truck back to this spot on the day it comes. All right, so DOT is out like crazy today, so I decided to show them this monstrosity. And the head's all strapped down. We got this bungeed back. It's not gonna go anywhere. Now we're gonna throw all this under the tarp, and let me know if you need any parts, because
specifically red ones.
If it's red, it's dead.
Yeah, we might be putting a different color for superstitious reasons.
You need bigger wheels and tires first. But
color first.
There you go. We got an engine. We got a head. We're gonna take this whole thing there. It's all gonna get done nice and right. He's gonna have, like, we can see the problem with the head gasket. Like, dude knows how to party. Stop partying so hard.
All that to pass a Mini Cooper.
All that to pass a Mini Cooper.
Worth it.
Them Mini Coopers fly though.
I'll fucking do it again.
Part one of the
Oh,
parking.
did you say stack and a cap?
Oh, I already told him about that. Yeah, so we need a cap. We need 2 caps because I need one too. We're gonna be cap bros.
You're gonna end up keeping Otis.
Yeah, I already know. I'm stuck with Otis now. So Otis is getting a hood stack, some 3rd gen cab lights, window tint. Your window tint looks awful. A cap, and then I think that was about it. But yeah, if you want to cover all that shit up, I'm gonna wash my hands. I'll throw you some shit. All right, made it. Not too bad. Actually pretty solid. Yeah, we're gonna get the pulled off. See how much it's gonna take to O-ring these bad boys. All right, so we just talked to the machine shop. We got everything dropped off, new block, new head, all that bullshit. So the machine shop, from what they're saying, is we actually got that gasket. Before I tell you what they said, we got that gasket from eBay because Mal was out of stock, and apparently there's a lot of knockoffs. So he got it off of eBay. It was supposed to be a genuine Cummins gasket. He said there's no numbers on it that verify that it's a Cummins gasket, so maybe that's why this one blew the way that it did. It's just very, very hard to get a good quality. So what we're going to do this time is everything, it's going to get O-ringed, and they're going to supply the head gasket. So we'll assemble it and all that, but they're going to supply the head gasket, so there should be no more issues with this thing blowing head gaskets. But, I mean, it held the power just fine until, you know, the wastegate, and then that's where I don't think it was, I mean, these knockoff gaskets will take, you know, stock boost levels, but apparently they won't take 45 pounds. So now that we're done dealing with Josh's stuff, I'm showing you guys. So this is going to be a coolant, or an oil bucket. You can see there's a little bit of coolant in there because I dumped. But this one is now going to be coolant, and that one's going to be oil. But you can see there's coolant in there. And these are mounted. So what I did was, unfortunately this was all I could get, but you can see if I open that up. Oh, yep, there we go. So that'll be our drain. What we're gonna do is we're gonna run a hose over to along here. So if I ever need to empty these, I can just, you know, throw them in a bucket and whatnot. I know, not the most practical thing in the world, but while we're sitting and doing something else, we can do that. So I can hold 5 gallons of coolant, 5 gallons of oil. This one I need to tighten up. This one I'm going to empty, but this will be trash and then scrap. So there you go. But this is what it looks like. This was about like 45 bucks to do all this. So this was like 20 bucks. This was another 20 bucks. This was like 5 bucks. So you get the point. All right, so I tore this whole front end apart, which actually wasn't all that hard. You guys can see here. So somebody did the wiring on this, and these were just taped together pretty much. So I did do a butt connector on those. I do have smaller ones on order, and it looks like somebody messed with the harness in there. So I want to wait till the small ones come in, and I need to order one of these guys here, because you can see that's not how that's supposed to be. And then this one they have all rigged together like that. So we're gonna, now that I know, I need to get that part on order, and then we'll get this perfect. So I'm gonna slap this back together. You can see I put the spacers here for delete these little winglets here. So yeah, I'm gonna throw it back together, and pretty soon we'll have that taken care of. I don't know what this is, but we're slowly but surely learning all of this. Oh, the coolant reservoir, okay. Yep, I'm gonna need to get a new one of those too, because people are